morning everyone. So we're sending out loads of tents at the minute. We're fitting those, but we're also sending them out. So I thought it would be really useful to have a quick demonstration on how to prepare your Darche roof tent for fitting. So this is how the Darche rooftop tent will arrive when you first get it. So I'm going to go through everything from unboxing, fitting the ladder, fitting the mounting channels, to mounting it onto a vehicle. So first, cut the heavy duty straps with some strong scissors or cutters. You will struggle if you have a knife, so use some really strong scissors, or I've got some side cutters here. So I'm just going to cut the sellotape with a knife. Do not use a knife to cut down the cardboard, because obviously you've got the tent inside here. So only across the top and along the back. So now I've cut the tape, it's simply a case of opening up the box. And I'm actually going to tease the box apart at the edges. So that's one side. And the other side. So the channels are just in the top of the tent like that. So take those out, put them to one side. And you've also got some little foam grommets to go underneath the ladder. Again, put them to one side, we don't need them quite yet. So all we're going to do now is take the reinforcing sections out, and we're going to lay the tent down. Now this side is the ladder side. You can see that we've got 4 holes in the base that we're going to attach the ladder brackets to. So this is the side we're going to put down first. So remove the sheet of hardboard which is just on there to protect the tent, and then we're ready to mount the mounting channels. We're going to start from this side up because it makes the tent a lot more stable later on for mounting the ladder. If you mount the ladder first, you'll find the tent's very unstable. So for ease, I've actually lifted this, or I've got my lovely assistant, my son, to lift this onto some trestles for me. But you can do this section on the floor, you can do it on a garden table, you don't have to do it at height. I just find it's much easier to do it at this level. So the first thing I'm going to do is undo the straps securing the tent. And don't forget to undo the 2 Velcro straps on the sides. So you will notice I've actually left the section of wood on the bottom of this tent. That means it's held in place by the straps as we lift it up onto the trestles, but it means the bottom of the tent does not get damaged while we're fitting the channels underneath. Okay, so everything you need to fit the tent can actually be found inside the tent. So to access it, the easiest way is to, now we've undone the straps, you have to lift the tent up, and you have to open the tent up. And then if I reach into here, just supporting the tent with my other arm, you can see we have the tension bars and that. Your fitting instructions, which hopefully you won't need now because we've got this video. Your ladder, now this is either going to be the telescopic ladder for the Hi-View or the fixed ladder for the Intrepidor. The heavy duty cover. The new net which now goes underneath the ladder. And the most important section, the bag containing all the fitting kit. The channels attached to holes which are pre-drilled within the base of the tent. Now these are equidistant apart, so the channels can either go side to side or you can mount them front to back. If you have to mount them front to back, which isn't a problem for the tent is perfectly suited to be mounted this way, you do need to cut the bars down. And if you cut the bars down, the bars are already pre-drilled with holes to correspond with the holes in the base. You need to cut the bars down at each end. As you can see, we overhang otherwise if we don't. So do not be tempted just to shuffle the bar along and cut one wedge off from one end. You want to cut a piece off of each end so that the holes still correspond within the base and to the channel. So to determine which orientation you put the mounting channels, it all depends on what you're mounting it to. This tent is going to be mounted onto roof bars, and the tent is going to be coming off the side of the vehicle. So if you can imagine that this tent is going to open this way. So when it pops up, the tent will be off the vehicle this side, the mattress is in the middle. The roof bars on the vehicle though are going to be running from side to side on the vehicle. So in effect, they're going to be like this on the vehicle and the tent. So this is a perfect orientation for mounting the roof bars because you can actually pick up at any point. So if the roof bars are closer in, you can still pick up on this channel in 2 points. If they're further out, you can. The same goes if your main structure that you're mounting the tent to is orientated the other way, or for example if we were mounting the tent coming over the rear of the vehicle, in which case the roof bars are going to be like this. So in this instance what you need to do is cut the roof bars down so again they cross the roof bar at any point. So it doesn't matter where this roof bar is, it's going to cross the bar at any point. Hopefully that will make sense, but I will show you once it's on the vehicle as well. So now I'm going to attach the channels onto the base of the tent. So the first thing you need to do is line up the hole in the channel with the hole in the base of the tent. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to fit the nut. Now a top tip with the nut, if you take the nut as they come fitted and actually with the blue end just slightly attach that to the screw of another nut, so it's just very lightly attached. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to put this down the channel and place this into position over the hole. So the next thing I'm going to do is take my M6 set screw and the large penny washer, and I'm going to reach underneath the tent. I'm going to feel for myself where the hole is, push through the sellotape, which is just covering the hole. You heard it clip. I'll just put it through to start you so you can see it's just coming through there. Then I'm going to lift and then you tighten it from underneath, and once it's tightened you can take this bolt off, and you can see I'm just tightening this by hand and you can see that the bolt's just slightly coming through. At that point I'm going to stop. It's just caught, but I'm going to now put the other one on. Okay, so I've put the channels on that side. And now I'm going to move to this side. Now this is slightly trickier. It's still just as easy. So again, we've lined the channels up with the holes. We're going to put the nut in over the hole. Now for this end, what we need to do is we need to lift the tent again like we did to take all the items out of the inside of it. And we're going to put our hand underneath the mattress here. So you see, here's the mattress, here's the baseboard. So my hand's going underneath. And then with this one, we literally are going to, again, find the hole. Put the bolt through. And tighten it up by hand. Okay, so now I've got the channels loosely attached, I'm going to tighten them up. But the first thing I'm going to do is just make sure that they're properly in line with the edge of the tent. Now as you can see, we've got a little bit of movement in them. Not a lot, but that's because the hole in the channel is slotted. So just make sure these are in line with the edge of the tent before you tighten up. And then getting one of the spanners that are supplied. So here's one. We have a size 13 on one side, a size 10 on the other side. We use a size 10 to tighten this up. So again, we're going to lift the tent. We're going to put the spanner on the nut and we're going to turn it. Now, rather than having to keep taking this on or off, you can actually pinwheel it round like I am, because the captive nut will stop it from spinning. and then you turn it until it just starts to get tight. Don't over tighten, but I've got it nice and secure now. Okay, so now I've got the channels secured onto the base of the tent. I'm just going to show you very quickly how we would actually secure it to the roof bar on the vehicle. So taking the brackets, you need to take the nylock off, take the washer off, each one. You get 8 of these in your kit. I'm going to slot these into the channel. Here's our roof bar again, if you remember. So this is actually going to be the other way up, attached to the vehicle. We're then going to, the bracket goes on, then the washers, then the nylocks, tighten the nylocks up with the size 13 spanner, which is this one, and then once it's all tight and secure, you then put the end cap into the channel. Okay, so with the help of my assistant, I have now turned the tent over. For this, when we're on stands, we do need 2 people. There's no way I could turn this tent over by myself. However, if I was working on the floor, and as long as I've got space, it's quite easy to gently lift it up onto its end and turn it over. The one thing you've got to remember to do though is just to do these Velcro straps up. That keeps the tent together while you're turning it. So now I'm going to fit the ladder brackets. So the ladder brackets are fitted onto the 2 holes on the base just here. So you can see that there are corresponding holes for the bracket. It's all pre-drilled. And we fit the ladder brackets in a very similar way to fitting the channels. So again, we have some M8 set screws with nylocks and with washers. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount this nut end inside the tent, because that's going to be a lot less painful if it gets nailed on than the nylock. And so we're going to access this exactly the same as we did for putting the channels on. We're going to lift the tent and we're going to unzip. So I've just unzipped the panels here, and then underneath the base of the tent is a little bit trickier. So now I have them both on. This is where we actually need both the spanners. So again, it's both the little sides, so both the size 10. We're going to put one underneath to hold the nut, and we're going to tighten up. Now this is your securing point, so you want this to be nice and tight. Great, so now I'm going to attach the ladder that I've got both of these securely fixed. So I'm going to put the ladder sort of in place like that. We have the set screw and the washer, and here is the nylon bush, so that we're actually going to place here and we're going to drop that down into position with the ladder. Get that lined up. It might just take a little bit of jiggling just to line it up. Washer, nylock. Now, when we come to secure these, we don't want to over tighten. So again, we're going to be using both spanners with the little side, with the size 10. So we're going to, you can either hold the nut and turn the nylock, or you can hold the nylock and turn the nut. Now, once the nylock starts to grab, so that's the blue section on the outside of the nylock, you just want a few more turns either side, and then that's it. So it's secure, it's not going to come off, but we've actually got freedom of movement. And I'm now going to tighten up this one exactly the same way. So So the last thing to do is we're just going to put these little foam strips on in line with the ladder. So I'm just going to slide the ladder out to roughly where they're going to be. Remove the adhesive strip. Then we're just going to place that in line. One. Okay, so new for this year, we also have a really handy little roof net that just literally picks up on these positions here. Absolutely perfect for wet coats, clothes, utensils, whatever you want. So it picks up just on these 4 points. Obviously the ladder, when the tent's open, is out of the way and onto the ground, so it's not going to foul on that. Pop it under here. There we go. So now all I need to do is put the heavy duty cover on. So you can see we have an awning strip at the end here. This is going to slot into the extrusion at the base of the tent. So now I've fed along the channel. We've got about an inch overhang either side. So I've just flipped the cover over. It's really important at this stage to get the cover right up onto the corners, because that helps you then pull it right over and down onto the tent. Now you can see that the cover is really generous. That is an absolute must. There is nothing worse than fighting with a cover when you're at height. It also means that in this space here, I can put my annex room, or I can put lots of other soft items underneath the tent here, because we've got lots of space. And then it's simply a matter of getting the slider, doing the tent up. It's a little bit fiddly. Push it right towards the end, and then off you go. So to put the cover around the corners, turn up the corners. But always remember, for when it's on your vehicle, turn the corners back down again to get a nice seal. Okay, little top tip for you as well when you're putting the cover on. This skirt here can get caught in the zip. We don't want that to happen. So push that out of the way. If you put your finger in behind the slider, it's only ever going to catch your finger, not the canvas. So finally, the last thing to do is put the heavy duty straps over. So you put those over, making sure you're not catching the cover up. So it's not rucked up, it's flat down. Through the rings. And we're ready to go fit. Okay, so now we've got the tent offered up onto the roof bars. So you can see the roof bars are crossing the vehicle like I explained. So we have the channels running front to back. And you can see how easily and securely this is fitted. So we've slotted the brackets under the channel, 1, 2 for each bar, put the brackets in, tighten them up, and now this is not going to go anywhere. So thanks for watching. I hope it's all made sense. I will be doing another video shortly to actually show the opening of the roof tent, but I'll see you soon.